Hey kids, welcome back to Honestville. I've been having some audio difficulties. I noticed last episode the music was a bit loud. I've been playing around with it. It's just been... something has changed in my settings, and I haven't quite figured it out, but I've done a test, and this seems to be a little bit better. Please let me know if you find it too loud or whatever. I've run tests, and it seems okay to me, but let me know what you think. Yep, anyway. Last episodes, we built a bunch of stuff in the city. We built this race course. We built this. I fixed the rail. I can't remember where I left it off. I have a feeling that I had sort of started to do this rail and then not figured it out particularly well, and then essentially just dropped it and done it off screen or something. But yeah, I've hooked this up here to the. I mean, there needs to be probably, actually I don't think I'll bother doing underpasses for the single track rail, just because it's essentially, my idea here is that it's essentially just bringing coal to this coal plant. It's not a functional rail line, so I don't really mind if it has level crossings. It's not going to be a high traffic rail line, and it's not going to be used for much else. I might zone some industry along it, just to make a little bit of use of it, but it'll be a sort of low priority one. These I do need some level or underpasses and stuff here and in other places along this line. And I think, you know what, I think I'm going to do that now, rather than say I'll do it later, which, you know, that was sort of the mantra of last episode. I think I'll do it now. Let me just see, actually, there's one thing that I have noticed here. Like, I feel like I'm not getting any sound effects. What happens if I delete? Yeah, the sound effects seem very faint. Anyway, we'll see. I realized I've been using these stations. There's a station I've been forgetting about that's one of my favorite network Addon Mod stations, and it is somewhere in here. Or maybe it's... oh, you know what it is? It's in here. That's why I've been forgetting it. It is in here. It's a multifunctional subway rail bus station. These Ninja ones here. This one is longer and has higher capacity. This one is much smaller. But yeah, so let's start using this instead of the vanilla rail station. It acts as a bus station. It's good for kind of the stops along the line. And I'll just bring this around. Whoa, that's weird. What's going on here? Why is that not wanting to connect up? Oh, it's so weird. Oh, it's got to do with the bloody, it's got to do with the rail being level. I think I mentioned this last episode. That's fine. That's fine. It doesn't need to be an intersection. I just want there to be as much traffic flowing to that train station as possible. Yeah. I mentioned last episode that the fact that the rail is level does make it a little bit harder to place. Now I'm trying to remember here if I can do. I should be able to do an underpass under this. Let's do this now. Do a little bit of landscaping in this here city rather than just put it off indefinitely. Last episode we did a lot of building. This episode I'll try and fix some stuff up. Not for the whole episode, but you know, just do a little bit of work. I've got some ideas about how I want the city to progress as well. I've got some ideas about how I want this fucking underpass to work. Come on now. Am I gonna have to do like a super long one to make this work? Come on now. Nope, that's backwards. It really does not behave well when it's placed near this diagonal rail with the level terrain. It's a very high maintenance rail. I have discovered as well. I was on Twitch last Monday, as I should be, most if not all Mondays. What is going on here? Why does this not want to work? If this needs to be a super long tunnel, then it's just going to be that, because that's just, yeah, I think it has to be like here. And we'll have to connect up the road to that station in another way. The station's actually just gonna have to be moved, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then do the same thing here. Yeah, I did some experimenting with the viaduct rail, which is now draggable, but I'm either doing it wrong or it's not working, because I had built in my little test region, I had built a viaduct rail system in the downtown, and it was getting zero traffic. And I was suspicious that it wasn't working. So I replaced it, and I replaced it with the level rail, and I immediately had a small train station fill up to basically full capacity. So I'm going to be very cautious about using the viaduct rail and maybe not use it at all, even though I love it personally. But I have never had that problem with it in the past, and I don't know whether it has to do with the NAM 38 or whatever. Could do that. That could be a fun solution. Sort of a longer station. Maybe just put a little road in here. Yeah, but basically what I discovered was that it's very, very finicky, especially the stations. The stations seem to behave very strangely. Some of those like diagonal overhead stations and stuff, viaduct rail stations, just pedestrian stairs to underpass. Very cool. That could be. I want to use this at some point. Those can be very cool. Let's see here. What do we need? We need the one over the rail. Hopefully I can make this work. This is diagonal under straight rail. We need one that's under diagonal rail. Oh, under diagonal rail. Oh shit, I think I need to... I can't shift tab. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. I need to cycle through them again. There is a hotkey to shift tab to reverse cycle through these, but I'll tell you why I can't use it, because it brings up my Steam overlay. And even though I have told Steam not to bring up the overlay like ever, it seems to still do it. I should probably see if I can fix that, if I can maybe force it to not do that, because that would be ideal, but this is working so far. This is what I want now, straight underground routes, like that, and there we go. Bit of a longish tunnel, but that's okay. Yep, looks good. Don't really need that little road there. But I guess people can get sort of dropped off at the station. And this is a little bit crazy, but I don't really mind the little, that's kind of a neat little loop into a tunnel there. We'll see. I'll adjust the road network around that underpass later. But yeah, so that's a decent train station. They're not all going to be that big one. That big one's a little bit overkill, I think. And then, so this whole area here we should definitely zone. I should take a look at our demands. I should definitely zone some industry along the rail. Let's just do the other station, or the other level crossings here, quickly. Yeah, so the viaduct rail, kind of sketchy, and the only reason I say it's sketchy is just because I was getting zero use on the line, and then I basically deleted the whole line, replaced it with this level rail, and it instantly filled up to like above capacity. So that to me is very suspicious. I don't know. It may have just been an artifact of the neighbor connection in that city or something like that, but I'm not. You know, I'm not sure. I will try it at some point again using viaduct rail, but yeah, I'll try it off screen. But if I have the same problem occur again, then like fuck it. I'm not. You know, I'm happy to kind of troubleshoot and try and fix things to a certain degree, but I don't want to kind of hold up the development of the city just to troubleshoot a problem like that. Let the experts at the NAM figure that out. The NAM team, network Addon Mod team. Okay, that's cool. That was a quick one. Oh, I need to do the actual the actual route over the rail. This one straight. There we go. Yeah. So other than that, and in other news, I continue to try and fix the garbage problem. What I did essentially, I had this idea of making regional dumps for the whole city. Oh, this is not going to work, is it? This one might actually need to be a viaduct because I can't. There is no road underpass. Well, no, there's a simpler solution to that. I'm gonna have to make this road straight. So I will do that. There is no piece for that. So we'll do that here, and then we'll just delete all this. That building can go, and yeah, I know how I'm gonna do this. This can go as well. This will need to be adjusted. And we'll just do, where is it? There we go. Yeah, I'm really excited for when they get the subway. They're going to be using, fuck. They're going to be using subway to do these tunnels in the next iteration of the network Addon Mod, so I will be paying close attention to that because it is definitely a big part of my transportation builds, is using these viaducts. You guys are probably sick of seeing them at this point. That's cool. That works. That bus stop is broken. That's fine. And this one like that. And we just need the connecting piece. That all fits quite nicely. That's okay. And yeah, I hope I haven't forgotten any of these actual underpass pieces. Yeah, so anyway, I tried to fix the garbage problem, and I essentially tried to make regional dumps, and there is one right now in the region, but it wouldn't fill up. The neighbor connection between this one and like Southwest Ward, or whatever ward I was working in, would not work. And so, yeah, I don't want to rely on neighbor connections for garbage. I've decided that we're just not doing that. The ones that are already intact, I'll keep going, but it's just the neighbor connection mechanic in this game has always been really wonky, and I don't want to rely on it on an ongoing basis to do garbage disposal. We're just going to be constantly harassed with you know, the message about there being garbage in the streets. So yeah, I am going to, and I have not had time this week. I just have not had time to download mods this week, but I will download one of the basically garbage cheat mods. I was reluctant to do so, but I'm going to download that, and what we're going to do is we're going to build some dumps at the edge of the region, and they're going to be like functional landfill dumps with some recycling capacity and other kind of, essentially as you know, it's funny to refer to dumps as like decorative, but essentially as an almost decorative element. And then, oh, what a mess this is going to be. And then basically, we will build like one of those black hole garbage disposal things to actually get rid of the garbage. So I'll have garbage in the cities to have the pollution and to, you know, to sort of simulate the problem that garbage creates, and then I will use, you know, I will sort of, but it will be, it'll be in place kind of symbolically almost. So okay, so here we have another train station. This is kind of an interesting arrangement. Let's put it. I think it should be on the north side of the tracks here. Yeah, I'm going to have a straight road going under the tracks there. Ooh, that's a really nice curve, though. I don't want to wreck that curve. It's like, oh, no, it's not. It's broken. Okay, well, then it's getting wrecked. Yeah, so it basically we'll do a symbolic garbage disposal sort of solution. And I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. It's not an interesting challenge to try and fix in this game. As somebody pointed out on Twitch, I think it was Cheese who pointed out on Twitch, garbage is like the most powerful. It's like a divine substance in this game. It's basically almost impossible to get rid of the landfills once you've zoned them. That little lump of landfill in the west end of this city will maybe be there for like eternity. We don't know. We'll see if it decides to disappear itself at some point. But yeah, no. So that's not a problem I want to continue to create. I will purposely designate some landfill zones that will just sort of be permanent dumps, just to sort of make it somewhat more realistic. I mean, it is called Honestville, right? Part of the idea of the city is for it to be a realistic sort of city with under straight rail. I need under diagonal rail. A realistic sort of city with realistic problems, and garbage is a realistic problem. It's not you know, making it work kind of without cheating in this city is just going to be more trouble than it's worth, frankly. So yeah. Where should I put the station in here? Lots of decent spots. I do like the long station. I think I will go with the long station again, simply because it spans more of the road network, so it's connected to more intersections. That's why it makes sense to me. And I will look up I will find some other more interesting stations at some point as well. But I like these better, much better. They also, you know, they also mean that we don't need to place quite as many bus stations. So yeah. Anyway, I think some of these industrial areas are probably going to get, they'll need to be rezoned. Might be able to do that, make that industrial. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Oh, there is one more, one or two more. I think there's only one more. Yeah, that goes straight to the, okay, so there's no more level crossings to fix except this one. And I think we're good. Yep, so that's the news there. That's the news there. Garbage, rail, just working around, you know, figuring out how, and it's, I gotta say, I think that with the rail upgrades, this new, using the upgraded rail by default, the NAM rail by default rather than the vanilla rail, it's a nicer texture and it levels the terrain very nicely, but it is a little bit more sensitive, and I feel like it's a little bit more prone to not functioning. I don't know what it is, whether it was the neighbor connection, whether it was the, I don't know why that rail wasn't working, but it very, very clearly wasn't. So yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's just, it's on my list of things to kind of pay attention to. You know, it's always great when you guys comment with solutions to things, and I can understand some of you maybe feel, some of you more experienced players maybe feel like you're giving me suggestions to fix problems and I'm not taking them. I do read them and I do kind of make a mental note of them. It's just, you know, it takes time for me to, to go and download mods and test them and make sure they work, and then actually make these videos with your mod suggestions. So it's not that I don't, you know, value your suggestions or anything. Yeah. So anyway, this is looking pretty nice. Somebody suggested, I don't have the name of the person right now, but somebody suggested that I turn this into, that I get some kind of rail yards props, some just sort of non-functional rail yard decorative props, and I think that's a great idea. For now, I've just stacked up a bunch of, you know, shipping containers, but if we get like a little small rail yard, sort of sorting yard of some kind going there, then yeah. So if you have suggestions for mods for that, then that would be great too. I will certainly look into it. Have not done, like I said, have not had time to download new mods in the last week, but I will at some point. So, a few things I want to do. Let's kind of connect up the road network a bit here on either side of this train track so that it's not, like, I'm not going to make any more level crossings, but I'm just going to at least do this, make a road there, and let's fill that with industry. I think we have a fair amount of industrial demand. I'm just going to go with high-tech industry since it's sort of in the central city here. Don't want it to fuck up the kind of business. This city needs an airport. So that's another thing I want to do. I think I'm going to do it right away. I will want it to be connected to the highway, and highway is kind of the highway is sort of a no-go zone for now, simply because I don't want, I don't want to, like, that's, it's a can of worms. I was on the on Steam, or Steam, Steam. I was on Twitch last Monday, and I was playing around with the network Addon Mod highway stuff, and I got actually quite frustrated. I'm sorry to say that I got quite frustrated with it, and you know, it's just a matter of me figuring out. I had figured out some stuff a couple months ago, and it's a matter of me figuring out how I want to build them before I start spending a lot of time in episodes doing it. I'll probably do what I think is probably best for that, because, you know, again, there are people who do Let's Play series for SimCity 4, and they're really great series where they basically just like do time lapses, or it's commentary while they're building, or it's like accelerated or something like that, and you might hear a door opening there. The door is right by the computer, but anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, some people do time lapses for these videos, and it's just not what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to build the city every episode. So, basically, I don't want to spend a whole episode just being frustrated with building a highway, and I don't want to have to make an episode where I have to edit a whole bunch of pieces of, like, edit it down into a, you know, I may have to do an edited episode, though, and I think so. That's what I guess what I was getting to is what I may do is a highway build, an episode that's just dedicated to doing some highway construction, and then edit that video and sort of reserve that time in my schedule to do that editing, because these videos are, for the most part, even though last week's episode was a bit edited, these videos are for the most part unedited, and that's what allows me to do them on a weekly basis. But yeah, for the highway, I'll probably do that. I'll probably do some kind of edited video where I have carefully taken the time to build something and edited out the parts where I'm just cycling through puzzle pieces, basically, because that's really what you guys don't want to see. I don't think anybody, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody wants to watch a video with a dude just cycling through puzzle pieces and trying to figure out the precise bits of one of those network add-on mods, highway interchanges. So yeah, so that's where that's at. But it's coming soon. We will be building a highway soon. As you can see, the city is visibly expanding outwards towards the highway. So that's where we're at there. We've got a lot of demand here. I'm curious. Maybe it's because I was playing around on that other tile and it kind of generated some demand for this central city. Let's fix these. Let's get rid of some of these warnings here. Health and education warnings. Oh, this hospital is starting to fill up a bit more. That's great. And what do we got going on here? We have a high school that's maxed, that needs to be maxed out, basically. Everything else looks good. I think that's it. I don't even know, is there a university in this town? I don't particularly care to put one if there isn't. Oh, there is one there. Okay, it's fine. Alright, good. And then we are going to place an airport. We're going to place an airport kind of on the edge of town. I just want to get the extra business boost from it. Wouldn't be a bad idea to put it by this rail line, actually. Who knows? Maybe I could get, there are props for like air shipping, so maybe I could get like an air shipping freight terminal going on at some point. I'm not going to do it now because I haven't played around with those in a long time, but I'm going to build one of the largest airports just so that we reserve a central city space for that. It can be out by the speedway. I think that's cool. Kind of in this corner. This will be a reasonably easy place to bring a highway. Let's leave some space between the airport. Ooh, I don't know. No, I'm going to put the airports... I can always move it. You know what? I'm just going to place it right there, right tight up to the rail track for now. And I'll move it if we need to. I'd prefer to do it that way. It's a nice flat area too, so not super worried about that. And yeah. Maybe we will zone, I don't want to zone all along this industry quite yet, although I think I will. Yeah, we'll see. We should definitely zone lots of industry this episode. Let's put a road down the middle of this, or a street rather. There we go. Also could have been cool to do some kind of... A rail yard here would have made sense too. And I, you know, certainly it's something I can think about doing in the future. That's good for now. I should check my bus... connections around various places where I've done a lot of deleting of roads and stuff. Just make sure that our bus network is still mostly intact. Just fill all this up. I don't know what's going on there. This, I remember, yeah, I forgot to fix that. I think that's functional. If I notice that it's non-functional, I'm not in the mood to fix this right at the moment. That is a Maxis, that's a couple tiles of Maxis rail. You can see it is not nearly as nice looking, and I know that's a very ugly little blemish on the city, but I'm going to leave that for now. And I don't know, I might have to kind of redirect some of these lines here, but this is kind of a bit of a hairy thing to fix. So we're not going to do it right at the moment, but we've added a little bit. Of industry in the airport. It should have. Does it have power? Probably not. Actually, it's a little bit far from the power line here. Look it up. And yeah, I suspect we might even build some dirty industry down here. We're probably going to go over next door. There is one other thing I'd like to do in this city. Yeah, we're having garbage problems again. Yeah, I could not for the life of me. I mean, let me try it now, actually. I'm very curious if I can get the one that I built. Oh, we can export. No, we're still exporting to North Ward. I'm going to do that for now. I am going to export to North Ward for now. Yeah, I'll build a convention center eventually. I'll export to North Ward for now because that garbage is already there. That you know, I've already sort of created that problem, and it's more or less permanent. But and let's see if that makes the garbage notification go away. But like, you know, like I said, I want to not deal with this every episode. I want to just, at this point, just put in a solution that gets rid of the problem, because it's boring. It's not an interesting problem to solve. It's not an interesting or fun challenge. And it's really is one of the aspects of the game that is not particularly well developed. I think we're going to go to North Ward shortly. Let's just wait until some of this industry develops, the high-tech industry in particular. And what is our... We don't have really much dirty industry demand, but we might want to save a little bit of industrial demand for North Ward. Also probably going to build some more commercial in North Ward, and make sure that I've got my taxes set up correctly, so that the offices all build in this tile. Yeah, this residential had also not completely built up. Oh, and there is one other residential area I'd like to build. Just take a look here at the rail network and the bus network. They're probably not getting too much use for the time being. Oh, that's not bad. Interesting. It looks like it works. Looks like the connection works. This line is getting fairly heavily used. I'm just looking at the bus stop placements. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. And the station placement as well. That looks suspicious, but hopefully it's working. There's that station. That station's clearly working, and this station is clearly working as well. I think I was going to build along this line here, actually. It looks to me like these lots don't work, so they'll be kind of a decoration in whatever trash solution that we find. Anyway, I'm just going to extend the city along to the south here. I'm kind of opening up options so that the city can extend naturally along the rail lines, and then we'll fill the corner. Like this corner here might actually be filled with other industry and stuff, and you know, just general infrastructure. There probably will be a highway coming through this corner as well, I suspect. Maybe that highway loop is going to come through here. So highway imminent. Let's put it that way. Right, and I will just, I'm going to delete this because it probably doesn't work. I'm going to spam these if I need to for the garbage, because at the very least they can be deleted. It's kind of easy enough to fix. Also, on Twitch the other night, someone was mentioning that my cities are super grid-like and everything like that. And yeah, they are. I mean, I like the central areas of my cities to have a grid like this, just because that's the kind of city that I live in, and it's the kind of city that I like living in. But I rest assured, I will at some points. No guarantees as to when, but I will at some points. When we get out to the suburbs, I'm going to work on some different ways to zone and some different street grids and something like that. So yeah, and I've been trying to build the city, and you know, in keeping with what I had sort of initially said about this city. I'm trying to build this city, kind of extend it naturally to a certain degree, if that makes sense. So extending it along rail lines, extending it along transportation lines. So I don't want to like go out and build a suburb now. I want to kind of wait until we get to that area and then do it then. Looks like there's some freight running along that rail. I wonder where we have freight. Oh, I did build a freight station, didn't I? Where did I put it? I think I put it here or something. Is that it? No. Should be... Oh, it's just industry using it. Okay, I never built a freight station. I had thought about putting freight, maybe, but I don't know. The freight stations... I mean, I know you can force them to work. There are tricks to force them to work, but it's kind of silly. You essentially force them to work by cutting the industry off from the road network. That's more or less the only way to get them to work, and I'm not all that interested. What I would like to do is build at some point in a sort of ornamental train, freight train yard, something large that takes up a large part of the city. even if it's non-functional. Not, you know, for the time being anyway. Rail is going to be used primarily by passengers. I know there has been talk of. I think I remember seeing in the network Addon Mod, in discussions on the forum and stuff, there has been talk of trying to essentially separate out freight rail from passenger rail. So who knows? At some point in the future, maybe. Maybe there'll be like a dedicated freight rail system that we can use or something. But yeah, like a lot of things in this game, I'll use it if it works. And if it works well, and if it doesn't involve, if I don't have to do brain surgery to get it to work. And I think some of, like, you know, sometimes that might just come across as sort of really impatient in terms of, oh, I think, did I cut off? I have to be very careful about not cutting off these power connections to the neighboring cities, because that I do want to use neighbor connections for. You know, until it doesn't work, basically. But I would like to try and see if I can actually get power. I want to see how much I can power with this. That's the only reason I want to use the bloody neighbor connections. Maybe build that along here as well. Yeah, maybe we'll see. No, I think this is fine. I think I'm kind of done building in this tile for now. I'm just gonna give these guys water. I'm gonna take a quick look at the education and healthcare situation, see what the radiuses look like. But yeah, if I have to do, you know, it might come across as impatient, but if I have to do brain surgery to make like a highway interchange work or whatever, I quickly lose interests. And so, you know, some things are worth the investment to make it like visually interesting, but I want to get the city big, you know. That's my priority for right now. I think later I think we will spend a little bit more time embellishing some of the neighborhoods. Kind of going back, cycling back over and embellishing the neighborhoods. But if we can, you know, if we can get to 1 million population in a reasonably short number of time, which in this format of video is probably something like, I don't know, fucking 10 episodes or something. But if we can get to sort of 1 million population, which is a nice population size where we start to have some real regional dynamics, get a sense of how these demographic mods are actually working, then at that point it will be quite interesting, I think, to sort of go in and you know, maybe make a large park. Ooh, that is one thing I want to do in this city though, and I've got to designate space for it. I want there to be a large central park, not necessarily dead center in the city, but like maybe I should reserve a spot. Maybe this big triangle here or something. I'm trying to think. This is a reasonably central area. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's take this triangle here, and we're gonna make this whole thing. I'm not gonna do the park right now. I was working on some of the pond mods and stuff. I was playing around with that, so I am working on it. And that's something I will spend time on. We'll just call it like Central Park Reserve for now, and it's gonna be like a kind of land reserve for a central park. So I'm not gonna build anything in this triangle here. And it'll be this big triangular park. I like that. I just kind of picked it at random right now, but this big triangular park that it would almost be cool to put the race course kind of adjacent to it or something. Yeah, anyway, we'll see. Maybe the park can extend down here and the race course can kind of be annexed into it. That would be cool. But yeah, so that's that. Big central park there. Fuck off with the garbage. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those bloody black hole garbage disposal things. Okay. And I'm gonna leave at this point. I'm just gonna wait until this builds up, and then I'm gonna leave this city tile so that I'm just gonna run away from the garbage problem. Is what I'm gonna do. Population 160,000. I want to wait until this develops. We do have some demand for office stuff. Is any of it building? Let's take a look. I just want to look at my zones here. I should probably expand. I can densify some of these areas. Actually, let's take a look at traffic too. Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. Oops. There we go. I should have kind of done a little spot check here and make sure that everything was functioning. I will make sure that this shit is functioning, but I think this is a pretty robust rail network. I think it goes to the right places. I think the city can be built out along it in an interesting way. So, yeah, and the city is starting to have a more kind of neat shape to it as well. Right. I don't see any other problems, any other things that aren't connected up to the road network. Yeah, it looks like some of my existing commercial zones are still building up, so I'm gonna hold off a bit on zoning more. But what I will do is look at if there's some particularly high traffic areas. Freight truck, passenger train, road traffic. Really over here is where it's at because of this train station there. The other train stations I think will get busier, particularly as we bring employment closer to that central station. And if I need to rezone some stuff to make that happen, I will. So this is a big kind of commercial area as well. So I'll build a little bit of commercial near this train station. And then we're going to go over to the north ward and probably zone some like, what's it called? Commercial, not office. Retail. I mean, retail doesn't have its own zone in this game, of course, but not like in New City. But I'm gonna get it to build there because that needs to happen for sure. This is kind of neat, this whole situation here. This little square with the train station along the edge of it there. Okay. I got some nice areas back here. There could be some kind of like, I'm imagining maybe even a pedestrian overpass or something. Who knows? That could be really cool to put a pedestrian overpass over the rail there. But again, that's kind of a can of worms I'm not going to open right at this minute. Get some, hopefully get some use up. I want to use up the office demand if at all possible. Usually 1 or 2 towers goes up and it gets used up reasonably quickly. Another strike? And another garbage problem. I'm just going to look for other spots for office development. Along here, what's zoned along here? I should probably, you know what I'm going to do for now is just kind of expand what I'm hoping is going to be sort of the central business area of the city. Just kind of expand along these little side streets and bring it over here as well, near the waterfront. And yeah, along here. Now that's going to use up some of our residential. It's going to use up some of the residential areas here that we'd sort of accumulated, but let's just upzone this now to dense commercial. Oh, the music stuttered there for a second. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, and what the hell's going on here? That's what I want. So that's gonna kind of fuck up our residential demand for a second there, but it's gonna have to. Okay, that road should actually just be connected. There we go. I think. Use up that office demand. Might actually disappear because I just deleted a bunch of houses, but I really like this building. I'm going to, even though it's abandoned, I'm going to make it historical. Hopefully it will come back someday. Look at that. Now we got a big office coming in. It does not look to me like we killed off too many people there. It looks like the city is getting denser elsewhere, which is not a bad thing. That's great. Let's make this one historic too. Should actually build some landmarks at some point. But yeah, that will have used up a substantial chunk. That's 4,000 jobs in that building. And yeah, we've actually taken a dent out of the residential demand too, just with just by areas that were not very dense getting denser because the office is taking up the space in the central city, which is kind of a cool process. Like, there's a lot of houses and stuff over here, and you know, I'm hopefully at some point that that will also densify. I might need to do these mansions in particular are often cause a problem. They need to be deleted in order for the density to build up properly. Right, and then this area here needs to build up. What is going on here? Education, the city school. I probably should... Okay, interesting. So I'm going to replace this with a large high school. Sorry, I had to stop the recording there. But I'm back. Yeah, so big high school here. That should be fine. And I just want to solve these other... Okay, I don't care about the traffic problems for now. City water full of filth. That's interesting. In terms of the garbage, I'm just going to do... Where are they? I want to use the... There we go. I'm just going to dump a couple of these down here. Because I did actually, to be fair, I did delete one, so I'm just going to... This is a temporary measure. I'm just going to do that. I know it causes pollution, I know it's not good for the residential areas, but that's fine. And everything else should be fine. I want to wait until this zone builds up, and then we're just going to pop over very briefly. This episode's already getting long, but we're going to pop over very briefly to North Ward, and I'm going to just do some commercial zones. So not a particularly eventful episode, but kind of cleared up some housekeeping for the region. Man, it's almost like the trash is like, oh no, okay, see, that went gray, which is a good sign. That went gray, which is a good sign. You're getting a water thing here. I'm not going to worry about water pollution right now. Part of the reason I'm not too worried about all these undesirable effects in the city is that, well, we've used up all of our residential demand, or all of our non-poor people residential demand. Is that, like, there's just so many, the positive amenities are just so strong that having some pollution in the city for the time being, at least while I sort out these regional issues, is just not that big a deal. It's more than mitigated by just providing basic education and healthcare, so yeah. Right. I'm liking this zoning here. I'm hesitating. I think, yeah, let's go over to North Ward. There's still some... I never got that port fully developed in North Ward, so I'd like to run the simulation a bit there and also zone a little bit of commercial. I think I used up most of the office demand. We're starting to see the office build up here. Let me just double check. Yeah, there's a little bit left, but that's okay. Let's head out to the regional view. Regional population is 250,000. Wow. Okay, it was 180, I think, when we started the episode. So yeah, we're expanding quickly. Like I said, I'd like to get to like 1 million as quickly as possible. Last time it took me 30 episodes to do so. This time I'd like to do that a little bit faster. And then we're gonna, you can see here, when we, for those of you who are waiting for me to do highway developments, when this city starts to develop out to where this highway is plotted, that's when I'll do it. And I will probably dedicate an entire episode, or maybe several episodes, interspersed with just sort of more general development episodes to highway construction. It's something that I have sort of committed myself to do for this Let's Play. Not something I did. Of course, I used the vanilla ones in the previous in Plantation Bay. So, right. So we are getting. This is what I was hoping would happen. We are getting a little bit of manufacturing industry popping up here. We're also getting some. Okay, wait, now, there's one thing I need to do, because I don't think I did it. I thought that I'd already done this, but I think I forgot. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to max these out. Oh, it's 20 the max. I'm going to max these out here. Medium wealth commercial office and high wealth commercial office. And it's a little bit of a clumsy way to do things. But it is the best way to create kind of a central business district, and we may get a little bit of abandonment from whatever existing offices I had in this city. Oh, I have none. Okay, that's actually ideal. This is sort of
I had forgotten where we were with this city in terms of all that. Okay, so now I've got all this services demand. One thing I find is that the services demand tends to be kind of insatiable for the whole region, so by pushing a lot of it to these outer areas, it means that we can maybe even use up that demand. So I'm going to find the busiest streets here, zone some commercial. We'll go with the medium density, and just kind of create some essentially kind of neighborhood shopping streets. That's how I see this. You know, we've got the sort of central business district with the Grand Rail Station, and then we've got these inner city neighborhoods in these inner wards that are going to have these shopping streets on them, and this is going to be kind of uniform around the entire region in terms of, not in terms of the actual zoning configuration, but just in terms of how I. Okay, that's like a giant mansion or something. Just leave that there for now. Let's see here, traffic. Yeah, that's probably fine. Where else have we got? Over here is, no, that's where we were. And then over here, we should start with this, and then I will find some other, maybe I'll just actually do this properly here. Yeah. Do I have train stations? I'm gonna double check, I'm gonna do this zoning here, and then I'm gonna double check the train stations, and then we'll be done for this episode. But yeah, I am liking how this rail network is working out so far. It's kind of an interesting radial rail network, and I'm glad that I had initially thought that we might really hold off for a long time to build rail, but hahaha, you drive it. That's on the agenda too, guys. Just so you know. I will at some point. And it's going to be funny. I want it to be a funny, lighthearted thing because, as I have alluded to, it's not a feature of the game that I particularly enjoy, but I would very much enjoy kind of putzing around with it for an episode at some point. It would be something that would be a lot of fun to do once the city is, again, kind of getting towards that 1 million mark, where it's quite a large city. With lots of traffic and lots of stuff going on. I think that's when it will be the most fun to do a You Drive It episode. Once there's also, you know, we've got all the different modes of transportation going, I think it would be pretty amusing. Not something that I normally do, and that just makes it more fun, right? The fact that I will be a complete noob at the You Drive It thing. Okay, there's also right near this train station. This is kind of what I imagine, you know, like a city of villages oriented around train stations and eventually subway stations. I'm just going to develop all this area around here as commercial. I didn't have any, unless I've missed them, which it's always possible that I miss them. I didn't have much in terms of name suggestions, so please feel free to submit names for neighborhoods. Not so much streets. I'm kind of avoiding doing the street thing for reasons I discussed last episode. It's just so easy to overwrite them that if one of you guys requests a street name and then I overwrite it like 2 episodes later just because I delete a street and don't notice it or you know, upgrade it or whatever, I think it's not the best idea. Wow, what's this? What's all this traffic? Oh, it's because it's a bottleneck here. That's cool. Well, we'll put some commercial along it. Take advantage of this traffic here. What's the idea? Just kind of naturally, I always, you know, I almost always do this. Naturally build the commercial areas along the most traveled routes. I think it's an interesting way to build the city kind of naturally. Somewhat realistically. You know, I'm not sure I want to delete that big factory there. Just leave it there, it's fine. It's probably providing a lot of jobs. What is this? What stage is this port at? 5. Okay, so hopefully we can fill it up a bit more. I'm going to need some more industry to develop for it to fill up. Have I got... I wonder... Yeah. Right, well, I'm not going to zone industry for now, though. Maybe next episode we'll plop some more... Well, no, it looks like let's just let what's there develop. I'm getting some bigger lots coming in here. Oh, these open grass areas. Let's take a look at what's going on with that hospital. Okay, yeah, this one needs to be upgraded to the max size one. do that right away. I should probably modern hospital, dense urban areas. I'm going to build the same one. Maybe at some point I'll get a different hospital mod and not just always use this one, but let's put it kind of in a little bit more central area here, like there. So that, yeah, there we go. And then I'll just zone this here. That should solve that problem. And, you know, like I said, I know this is kind of like a slapdash, very quick, very rapid development thing where I'm not paying much attention to details, but I guess what I'd like to do is get that critical mass going first and, you know, really create a big beast of a city that we can then go back and do detail work on, you know, things like parks and public squares and just generally making the road network look nicer. Why is this not a... Yeah, there's lots of rail traffic here. I think there's only 1 or 2 stations in this whole city, but they're getting lots of use. For sure. Cool. Alright, well, that's it for this episode. We are at about 250,000, I think, for the region. And I'm probably going to try and keep this pace going for now until we get out to the highways. Once we get out to the highways, I'll like I said, I'll intersperse it with highway episodes. But thanks for watching. You can always check it out on Monday evenings at 5 on Twitch. I will be doing live streaming where I just experiment with modding features. And then, yeah, and then these episodes should come out on Friday or thereabouts every week. See you next time. Ciao.